Assistant Village Manager and Director of Community Development for the Village of Vernon Hills. We're going to go ahead and start the meeting for the August 13th, 2013 Village Board meeting. I need a roll call to establish a quorum.
President Byrne, Trustees Schultz,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Hebda,
Here.
Cook,
Here.
Markwart.
Here.
Thank you. I now need a motion to appoint a President Pro Tem.
Mr.
Motion
Clark,
to motion to appoint Trustee Cook as President Pro Tem.
second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Okay, we've done the roll call and established that the meeting is in order, so would everyone please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item is citizens wishing to address the board on something that's not on the agenda. Anyone? Okay. Then in that case, official reports. Let me see if I've got a copy of the... Proclamation, Village President's proclamation that schools open Safety Week, August 21st through 27th, 2013. Whereas the children in our community and all across the state and nation are beginning a new school year, and students will be walking or biking to school in neighborhoods, on sidewalks, streets, approaching or waiting school bus stops, and boarding or dismounting from buses. And police officers, school bus drivers, and crossing guards will also be doing their part to provide life-saving protection for all school children, not only in Vernon Hills, but also statewide and nationally. And motorists can help protect children by being especially careful near schools and in residential areas, watching their speed, observing traffic control devices, and obeying school crossing guards. And it is important to increase all motorists' awareness of the need to be alert for children at school crossings, to review and follow the rules of the road as they apply to school zones and school buses, and to be respectful of school crossing guards as they perform their important duties. Now therefore, Roger L. Byrne, Village President, proclaims the period of August 21st through August 27th, 2013 as Schools Open Safety Week in the Village of Vernon Hills.
Thank you.
And I know with several of us involved in school and stuff like that, and having been involved in the busing industry, and Trustee Williams still is, we can't stress that enough. It's extremely important. Nothing in your life is worth being in that big a hurry that it can bring harm to a kid. So let's all keep that in mind.
And just one additional reminder,
Yes, sir.
that it is illegal to use your cell phones within a school zone.
Yes, sir.
It's also worth pointing out and reminding people.
Thank you. That includes the bus drivers.
Yes, that does include the bus drivers.
Includes the bus drivers, yes.
Okay, next item, village board meeting rescheduled. That's the one that was originally for next week, right? Is
Correct.
rescheduled to Tuesday, August 27th,
That's correct.
2013. Okay. Assistant Village Manager, updating of Chapter 2 of the Village Code, Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, Chapter 2 of the Village Code creates the various executive staff level positions and departments for the village. Basically, what this section does is defines the roles and responsibilities within each of these areas within the organizational structure of the village. Over the years, we've had a number of these positions either eliminated, changed, or have been merged into different positions and or departments that have been created to streamline village operations. However, what we found is that the Chapter 2 has not been amended to reflect what currently occurs within the village. So over the next few months, the staff is going to be working to update this section of the code to reflect current titles, positions, structure of the village, and that these dates or that these updates will primarily focus on the village manager's position, village engineer, director of public works, the Department of Public Works, and community development. We will also do some cleanup in other areas and the like to bring this section of the code really up to date and to be more reflective of current practices both within the village itself and to reflect what's out there within our industry. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. We'll be working and coming back to you at some point at a committee of the whole meeting.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, next item, Chief of Police, premise alert system.
Good evening. In August of 2009, the Illinois legislature passed the Illinois Premise Alert Program Act. Shortly after the act was passed, I made a brief presentation to the village board and the village regarding our participation in this program. Just a couple of months ago, Trustee Schultz sent me a copy of an article that appeared in the Chicago Tribune regarding a community in DuPage County that had contracted with a private organization to manage the Premise Alert program for their city. I believe the cost for this service was somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 per year. The message being presented in the article was that this was such a great service that at least one other community in DuPage County was also considering subscribing to it. Trustee Schultz's note to me was something to the effect that this looked like a great program. While very expensive, we may want to look into this for consideration at some point in the future. Obviously, when I made my presentation a couple of years ago, I didn't do a very good job of getting the word out regarding this program. After explaining that we already had virtually the same program active here in Vernon Hills, and it was free, Trustee Schultz suggested that maybe I want to make another presentation to the board and to the community so that everyone is aware of the service and that it is available for use. The Illinois Premise Alert Program was established to provide first responders with vital information for people with special needs. The statute does not require but encourages 911 call centers to accept information about people with disabilities and special needs and share that information with police officers, firefighters, and paramedics in case of an emergency. It's designed to enhance first responder-citizen relationships and will provide first responders with important information prior to their arrival in the emergency. Through the Premise Alert Program, citizens can voluntarily inform local police and fire departments about a family member who may require special assistance or treatment in an emergency at home. This information is then added into our computer-aided dispatch service, and when and if we receive a call for service at your residence and we plug in your address, this information will be readily available and be able to be distributed to the first responders. For example, if you have someone living in your home that may be confined to a wheelchair, in the event that firefighters were responding to a call at that residence, the information regarding the disabled family member would be immediately available to them, and they would know that even before they arrived at your home. That could be a true lifesaver for families caring for loved ones with autism, Alzheimer's, or are blind or paralyzed or have some other disabling illness. We currently use the system to record information regarding orders of protection and other safety-related information as it relates to your particular address. Will this program help? Absolutely. If police officers and firefighter units responding to a call are able to have this sort of information before they even arrive at the scene, it can ease a possible very tense situation by learning about the disability beforehand. Maybe you have someone who doesn't respond well to the presence of police officers, so you let firefighters go in first. Or obviously, as I said, in an emergency medical situation, in case of a fire and your residents need to be evacuated, it'd be nice to know ahead of time that there's someone living at the home that's going to require additional assistance. Now, this program, as I said before, is strictly voluntary. Residents wishing to participate in this program, it's a very simple process, but they must complete a form that clearly explains the nature and the extent of the disability. Again, the more information we have, the better our response will be. So how do you participate in this program? Simple. As I have up on the screen there is the home page for the Vernon Hills Police Department. If you'll notice on the left-hand column, there's a series of choices. And if you will scroll down to the one that says information, and then you follow that to the safety and security section, down to the premise alert program. And the next available tab is the premise alert application, which is there on the screen. It's a very simple one-page informational form that we request that you fill out. The only catch to this is that it needs to be personally delivered to the police department. I know that may be an inconvenience, but it's essential to the security of this program that we verify that the information on this form is accurate and that you are the person that is authorized to make these claims on behalf of the disabled persons. Really, that's all there is to it. As proof to the fact that we didn't get this information out very well the first time, I went back into it and looked to see how many people have enrolled in this process, and so far we have 2 families that have taken advantage of this. This is a program that other communities are forking out literally more than $100,000, I believe it was $120,000 for, that we already have. The system is there, it's in place. We can also, it has the ability to put photographs of your children in there. In the event that something happens, we need to locate them. The information and a current photograph of the children would be available immediately. Obviously, if you're going to add photos to the system, it's imperative that you update those photographs periodically, because your second grade photograph doesn't look anything like you when you're 15 and in high school. So I believe we have like a 2-year limit on these. After 2 years, we'll get a list that's kicked back out and recontact you and ask you to update the information if it's still valid. That's it. Thank you.
Are we going to do anything with the schools, some of the special needs kids there, just to make sure that the school is aware of the program so that they can reinforce it with the parents?
I don't think we've ever done anything like that, but we certainly could develop a little blurb to be added to the newsletter. I know the schools themselves have a very intricate program for when they handle that or when they call us. But anything we can do to get the word out. I believe we had a computer terminal out at Summer Celebration in 2010, shortly after this came out, and I believe that's where we got all our responses.
All right. Well, I came in the middle of this. So we are working with the schools?
The schools have their own system.
Okay.
And obviously, their information is protected. And we have a system that's village-wide, and anyone can put that information into our computerized database. And again, the way it works is if we get a call at a particular residence, the address pops up on the screen, and then it checks the database to see if we have any information on the family. There's all kinds of cautionary stuff, like I said, orders of protection, and we can add medical information
Well, can you
or disability.
access the school system?
We cannot access the school system, but truly we don't have a need to. If we get called from the school, they provide all that information before we even respond. And in most cases, especially with the high school, we have an officer that's present there all the time.
Except if something happens after school hours, then you're not going to hear anything for...
Correct. Then we're not going to have it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Any other comments or questions from the board? Okay.
I just hope more people take part in it.
Besides 2.
Right. Well, we'll have to, I guess you have to keep running it on the website. Okay. Next is Building Commissioner Atkinson, Westfield Hawthorn update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief update as to where we are right now in terms of construction. As everyone's probably noticed, demolition has started along with preliminary staging related to the site work. Permits for all 4 phases of construction have been approved and they're ready to be picked up. We are simply awaiting the posting of the letter of credit and the payment of fees, and we anticipate receiving this within the next few days. Westfield will then begin construction on the new entrances and addition, And the way it's going to work is Westfield will, in addition to the entrances, they'll construct the shells for the new tenants. Once they're done, they'll turn the shell over to the tenant, and they'll complete not only the interior work, but the exterior facade as well. And they'll have to do the exterior facade in accordance with the guidelines that were previously approved by the village board, and we'll check that on a permit-by-permit basis at staff level to make sure they comply. Westfield has already completed a substantial amount of the work for the shell for Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's, as you know, is located primarily within the existing portion of the mall. They anticipate having that work ready to turn over to Dave & Buster's in September. We do have the permit in from Dave & Buster's, and we anticipate having that permit ready for them sometime in September as well. It'll take Dave & Buster's 5 to 6 months to complete their portion of the work, so they're looking at an opening in the first quarter of 2014. Interior work for the shell for Mariano's will also begin shortly. As the board is aware, this is located in the space formerly occupied by Ruby Tuesdays, adjacent to the southwest entrance to the mall. I'm sorry, Maggiano's. Westfield anticipates completing the shell work in January of 2014. Maggiano's will then begin their portion of the work with an anticipated opening in the spring of 2014. Work on the addition, which includes the AMC Theater, will also begin shortly. They anticipate turning the shell over for this, and when I say this, AMC and the restaurants, sometime in June 2014. AMC will need 4 or 5 months to complete their portion of the work. And although this schedule seems ambitious, sometime it's anticipated and it's their goal to have the theater and at least one of the 2 of the restaurants open by the end of the year 2014. So with work just now beginning to get started, I thought I'd just give the board a brief update as to what the anticipated schedule will be.
Trustee Cook.
They didn't by any chance give you any other names besides Maggiano and Dave & Buster's, did they? Or do we have
Rumor
any?
has it there's a smash burger going in somewhere, but I don't know if that's been confirmed yet or not.
Okay. No, I was just wondering if I was hoping maybe they'd inked a few of the deals now that the movie theater was moving forward, so.
They were able to forward me a schedule, and those are the only names that were on the schedule so
Okay,
far.
thank you.
Yeah, and we're gonna get an update from the Dave and Buster guys, right?
Sure.
Tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Trustee Cook,
They're all
you're-
the Dave and Buster's people. Yes. Okay, well, this is nice.
to your question, they did not anticipate Westfield did not anticipate giving any other names with regards to that until the steel begins to go up for the theater. And I think it's based on the premise that people are still holding back, and they will feel better when they see things start coming out of the ground and then begin to move forward like that. And certain things begin to open up and the like. So I think that will come, but it will come incrementally over the next year, quite frankly. So.
Thank you.
Trustee Schultz.
The other most important thing in town that we've all been looking at forever and ever and ever is Buc-ee's. Can we get an update?
You've probably noticed the construction fences
No,
up,
I didn't. I haven't been up
Buc-ee's is
there.
not on the
and,
agenda.
the buildings have been torn down. They're doing the environmental cleanup now, and they'll just continue after the environmental cleanup is done. They'll go to foundation and then just continue through the
What's
construction
their
process.
schedule?
I haven't gotten a specific schedule from them, but that should take about 4 or 5 months to construct.
Well, you know what? This Buc-ee's is gonna be a pretty nice Buc-ee's, because the Buc-ee's that I've actually bought gas at, all they did was change the sign from Mobile to Buc-ee's, you know? And then put up the Buc-ee's colors, so. Oh, boy, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, what's next? Omnibus vote agenda. Is there a motion to approve items A through M?
So made. Second.
All right, motion is second. Roll call.
Trustees William? Hebda?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, and that, the one item from a date standpoint was what, Oktoberfest is September 29th this year?
28.
Oh, 28th,
September 28th.
September 28th. Okay, what did I say, October? Oktoberfest should be in October. No. Well, anyway, Septemberfest will be on the 28th. All right, unfinished business. Approval of Kemper voucher list of bills dated August 13th, 2013, in the amount of $11,606.96.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Trustees Hebda?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Markwart?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Abstain.
Williams?
Aye.
And I'd vote aye for the record. B, approval of the July 23rd, 2013 Village Board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustees Cook?
Abstain?
Markwart?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Aye.
Williams? Hebda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Is this piece pulled, or can we,
Pulled.
what is it, for their annual picnic or something?
Yeah, our understanding is they couldn't pull the logistics of it together, so they asked for it to be
When
removed.
did they want to do it?
It's
Not
not a
this year.
picnic. It's
Well, yeah, they were gonna,
Closeout.
well, they were attempting to do it prior to the August 27th meetings. That's why we had it on new business. And as it turns out, they just didn't have enough time to get it together. They do their employee picnic, which they can do. It's just a private event. But they thought while they had the tents up, they'd go ahead and have what amounts to a yard sale, where they'd sell.
Or
Ex-
tent sale?
Yeah, tent sale, yeah. But they couldn't pull it all together, so they've requested to remove it from the agenda.
Okay. All right, fine. Is there any new business or communication to come before the board? If not, is there a motion to adjourn the board meeting, going to committee of the whole?
We can do it as a committee of the whole.
Motion and a second.
Is
Roll-
there,
And then there will be no closed session tonight for,
Actually, Your Honor, we need 5 minutes.
oh, okay, for what?
Pending litigation.
Pending litigation. Okay. That'll be after committee of the whole. Everybody clear? All right, roll call, please.
Trustees Markwart?
aye?
Schultz?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Aye.
Williams? Hebda?
Aye.
Cook?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to call committee of the whole meeting to order. First item of business, approval of committee of the whole meeting minutes of July 23rd, 2013. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve as published.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Roll call.
Trustees Schultz?
Aye.
Schwartz?
Aye.
Williams?
Aye.
Hebda?
Aye.
Cook?
Abstain?
Markwart?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, item 2 is pulled, right?
Correct.
Okay, item 3, Dave & Buster's proposed rules and conditions for the Class B proprietary license.
Thank you, Your Honor. In your packet is information with regards to the proposed rules and conditions for the Class B proprietary license for Dave & Buster's. As you will recall, we have approved a special use permit for Dave & Buster's to operate a maximum of 200 machines within their restaurant. They have applied for a Class B liquor license, which the board's Liquor and License Commission will review at the September 4th meeting. They've also applied for a proprietary license, which will also be considered at that meeting. As you know, Section 1134, as a part of the license consideration, allows the board to impose specific rules and conditions upon the license based on the unique nature of an establishment. In advance of the commission meeting, staff had previously advised that we would prepare rules and conditions for review by the committee of the whole. These conditions are listed in the village code and are in your packet under the summary portion of the agenda. What I have done is laid out 9 conditions in your packet and highlighted in that section what Dave & Buster's has requested to add or change within the individual conditions. I guess my question for the committee is, do you want me to run through the individual items, or would you like to just ask questions with regards to that? The chief is prepared to make any comments or add comments with regards to his discussions with the Addison Police Department. We've had a conversation with the Dave & Buster's team with regards to these items, and they're in full agreement with them as proposed. So I guess I'll leave it to you as to how you want to do it.
Well, we talked this afternoon. What was one of the issues that, if you're 18 and
Yeah.
versus 21 and what is it, different wristbands and such?
Well, they can answer the questions about the operational part of it. The current code says no person under the age of 21 shall be allowed to play an amusement device licensed on the premise. And what they've requested is that 21 be reduced to 18 with the same kind of parental responsible adults, parents, or guardians who would be escorting those individuals or be monitoring those individuals within the amusement device area itself. And that's really the most significant change of this whole
Right.
list
and
of conditions.
You walk in there with the younger kids, you're there as a parent.
Correct. That's correct.
And you can go play the games that the adults play, right? Yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem, if the 18-year-olds co-mingle with the 21-year-olds, So, Trustee Cook?
Yeah, my only question on this, and I talked to Mr. Kalmer earlier today, and I just wanted to make sure that this covered us if groups like a school group or that were there. There's no number in here about how many guardians per kids, and I didn't think we needed one, but I just wanted to make sure that this covered the possibility of a large school group attending it, because we have in the past gone to the one in Addison with a school group in that. So,
Well-
it's just been the typical,
Maybe they can
typical
answer
outing
that
trip.
question for you.
And I just wanted to make sure we had that particular scenario covered in this language.
Yes, thank you, Trustee Cook. President Byrne, members of the board, my name is Hal Frank. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Meltzer, Pertil, and Stell. I'm pleased to be before you this evening on behalf of Dave & Buster's. As you know, Dave & Buster's is eager to become a member of your community, and I think you're eager to have them here as a member of your community. We have been working closely with your staff and with your attorney on these conditions. We're anxious to move forward in September. As you heard Commissioner Atkinson say, we're ready to start the build-out in mid-September, so we're eager to get these licensing issues behind us. And as I said, we have worked closely to go through these conditions and modify the language. A lot of the changes have just been suggested by us, and I just want to reiterate what Mr. Kalmar said, that we're in agreement with everything as it's now written. A lot of it's just clarification language to indicate, for example, instead of a licensee or an attendant, we said the on-site manager to be more specific. In terms of the specific question that Trustee Cook asked, and let me say, we wanted to be prepared to answer each and every question that you might have this evening, because time is of the essence for us. So I wanted to let you know that Elaine DeYoung, who's the Associate General Counsel for Dave & Buster's, has come all the way from Texas to answer any questions, because 2 lawyers is always better than 1. And so we wanted to, so Elaine has come here.
I thought it was exponential, but
And also Rick Sackley is here, who you've met before. He's the Regional Director of Operations. You had Mr. Kalmar just make reference to the police chief's conversations with Addison's police chief. So we have Ed Gagnon here, who's the operator from the Addison location, if you have any specific questions, because they have a comparable age limit. That just was discussed, the age limit. And then also David Pettingill, who is in charge of real estate development, is also here all the way from Texas. So we got the whole team here in case you have any questions. Now, sorry about that. To answer this specific question, Dave & Buster's does have a rule that they follow of at least one responsible adult for every 6 individuals under the age of 18. So they do follow that, so it can't be a classroom with 1 adult and 25 under the age of 18 people.
Yeah, and that sounded like the number I remembered from when we went there, so
Right.
what you bring is extra chaperones with, and
Right.
and I wanted to make sure we were covered on that.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
Well, this is, trustee Sanders, Schwartz.
Can you just repeat, I don't know if it was brought up or not, I know the Schaumburg Dave & Buster's, my daughter had gone there last year and she wasn't 21, and then she wasn't able to get in because at a certain time, I guess it was for over 21. And so now you're talking about 18-year-olds can be in the club? or-
It was probably Addison, right? It was Addison, and actually, I think Ed can correct me if I'm wrong, or Rick. I think at one point the age was 21. Is that correct? And it got lowered to 18 with the consent of the village, or is that maybe what Trustee
Well,
Schwartz?
okay, so if we're gonna go down to 18, then what were the controls to monitor that they were not drinking and the 21-year-olds were drinking?
I'll let them answer this question. They have very strict policies and programs. Rick?
Good evening, Rick Sackley, Dave & Buster's. So the first question, when your daughter went there, we have an 11 o'clock curfew on Fridays and Saturdays that we go to 21 and older.
Oh, so that would be for this,
Yes, we would do the same
Okay.
thing here.
okay, so up until 11 o'clock, you'd have the 18-year-olds,
Correct.
and
We'll
then,
do we'll do a last call at usually 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday
We'll start reminding me at 10 o'clock.
over the PA system, and we'll stop letting people in.
so if you're already in the club and you're 18, do you stay in the club or do you leave?
No, you'll have to leave,
Okay.
yes.
And then how do you monitor that, the 21-year-old friend isn't slipping the 19-year-old drinks?
Well, between our IDing every guest that comes to the bar, it's 1 ID per drink. So I can't go to the bar with my ID and get 2 drinks. I can't come to the bar with 2 IDs and get 2 drinks. It's 1 ID per drink. We have our cocktail servers, not only our bartenders, we have our servers in the dining room. We have our cocktail servers that are working through the midway as well, where the games are. And we also have our captains that work the doors. Our property here will have doors that enter in to the mall as well. So we'll have our captains at the front door and also the mall entrance. And we have those captains that roam through the midway as well.
And so do they have something that they're wearing that shows, a wristband that shows they're over 21, or?
No, they will just get ID'd every time they go to get a drink.
Okay, so I could go up and get a drink, and then 10 minutes later, I can go get another drink and hand it to my friend who's 20.
Well, you can attempt to hand it to that other person.
You could try, I'm
You
gonna
can,
catch you.
you can attempt, but depending where you're getting that drink from, if it's from the bar, that bartender's gonna recognize you. If our alcoholic beverages, our soft drinks are only served in plastic as well. So if we see somebody that looks like they're under 21 and they are drinking, we can card them as well again.
As they're drinking, you can just walk
Correct.
up and say,
We
can I
ask
see your
for an
ID? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, trustee Williams.
We were fighting each other, turn it on and off here. That kind of answered my question. So you do have people literally patrolling within the establishment, watching for this type of thing that's going on
Absolutely.
or possibly can go on?
Absolutely, because it's such a large venue,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the games, and Addison is a 55,000 square foot
Right.
building with a very large midway. So we're proactive.
Okay. Then going back to the 11 o'clock curfew, does the same thing happen then? That you kind of, as people came in, your people are watching who's 21 and who is not, and then
Yeah.
going back and carding again, I'm sorry, but I need to see your ID
Yes,
or whatever.
And, we've
get
actually
another.
gotten some guests upset because you know, in Addison, there's 2 bars, so a guest will go
Sure.
to one bar and get ID'd, go to the other bar and get ID'd again, but it's a different bartender.
It's life.
If I can add in, you know, we do several different things on a corporate level that are all related to the alcohol service. There's an internal responsible alcohol service policy where employees are trained, tested on an ongoing basis. It's not a, when you're hired, you pass and you're done. It's a perpetual training program. We use ServSafe, which is a nationally recognized alcohol service training program. It ties in, I think, with the Bassett program that you require here. We also do a program called BARS, where we self-test ourselves. There's a company that will send in a 21 to 25-year-old, and in accordance with our policy, anybody under 30 should be carded, and there's an immediate
Every day.
feedback if that person, when they order a drink, is asked for their ID. And
Yeah, me too.
then on a management level, we have the policies like the kitty call we discussed, where at a certain point in the evening, on a management level, and it varies a little bit by store, we decide that, okay, now the environment is appropriate for everybody being 21 and up. So each store will have a different set of policies like that. We generally don't wristband, but that is kind of a tool in the toolbox for stores we've used, you know, like a Times Square, where it's a different crowd than I would expect to see here. So it's this entire package of practices and policies we have to manage that. And it's one of those things where if we couldn't, we wouldn't be in business. We've got 62 stores, and if we were serving, you know, 18, 19, and 20-year-olds drinks, we would not be able to operate license. You know,
Well,
we'd be
obviously,
suspended.
we want you to come here, and we want people to go there and have a good time, but at the same time, we're very strict on our alcohol policies here.
Oh,
So,
I understand and completely
Yeah.
agree, and I think
great.
the operators can speak that. We take it extremely seriously.
I'm glad to hear that.
And it's a big deal. If a server doesn't pass that BARS test, is it written up the first time and terminated the second time?
Well, if they don't, yeah, the
Then
bars
card-
test, yeah.
carding, yes.
Yeah,
If they
so-
don't card the first time, it's a final notice. Second time, they get terminated. And if they don't take their testing, their RAS testing, they're not allowed to serve until they pass their testing, which is biweekly.
Oh, very good.
Trustee Schultz.
Of the 9 points, it seems like we've only got one real point of contention, and that is number 9, with the requirement to report disturbances within 100 feet of their property. So I guess I'd like to,
We have spent a long time talking about this, and I believe I talked to the corporate counsel in Dallas.
Yeah, our Director of Security, James Brousseau.
Okay, correct. And I think we're all squared away on this now, and it will stay as it stands right now.
okay.
The question was a duty to report anytime an incident happens or is reported to them within 100 feet of the entrance of the venue. And I believe that we understand where the problem came in. It wasn't a misunderstanding, but we understood what was going on, and we've clarified that, and they've agreed to the language as it's written.
Very good.
Well, and maybe to follow up on that, Mark, do you want to comment on that the mall is working on a new security camera system?
Oh, yeah, we've met with Mike Golden over at the mall, and the mall is going to be incorporating an entirely new, they have budgeted to put in an entirely new closed-circuit TV camera, both inside and external to the mall. So that, coupled with our increased patrols and security at Dave & Buster's and the other venues, I think we're going to have this place covered really, really well.
Are you still getting a real-time feed from,
No.
okay.
No, the system is down at this moment, and that's part of the reason why they are renovating it.
So you will get a real-time?
We will get a real-time feed, and even more importantly, we will have some of our people trained to use their equipment so that if we do need a copy of a DVD or a film clip, we can go back and get it and don't have to wait till the one person who is trained, who's on vacation, comes back to get it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but do you have surveillance within your own facility for cameras? Yeah, okay. All right, any other comments or questions?
What do they need from us?
Motion to forward these conditions to the Liquor and Licensing Committee and recommend them in the requested proprietary license.
Class B, right?
Class B it is.
Okay, there's a motion and there's a second. Any further comments or questions? You know, unfortunately, I got one question that is probably gonna come up, you know, and I don't know how we would have control over it or not, but, you guys are from Texas, right?
They are.
Who's the mouthpiece up here now, other than Hale over there on the sideline?
I'm the regional director, so it'll be my store.
So the attorney here is,
I'm the attorney Lane.
okay, how are you gonna handle conceal and carry in Illinois?
We work.
Well, you know, it's coming in January.
James Rousseau, our director of security, works closely with police. You know, we typically follow the law of the state and municipality we're in. I don't think we get out above and beyond. And
Well, you
fairly
have the
new-
call in this state that say yes or no, you know.
If it's allowed, we usually don't go above and beyond and prohibit it.
What does that mean?
Well, if it's allowed, we would allow
You
it.
can walk in with a gun if it's allowed.
But if you have the choice of
If
saying
you're allowed-
yes or no.
Well, okay,
If you're typically what we would do, if you're a permit holder and you're allowed to carry your weapon in an establishment that serves alcohol and you know, state law authorizes that, we would also allow that.
chief?
I don't think I'd be comfortable with that,
I'm not
to be
either.
quite honest.
Well, yeah, I mean,
How
what,
do
what,
we
I
control
mean,
it?
You have the ability to post signs
Yeah.
prohibiting concealed carry. Every business in the state of Illinois has the ability to do that. And I wouldn't see why it would be prudent to allow people to carry weapons, concealed or otherwise, in an establishment where alcohol is served or games are played.
So would you,
I think on that point, if it's a
you want to get a second opinion on that one?
you want to do a huddle?
I think for us, if that's how the village felt and it ended up in these conditions, I don't think we'd have a problem
Yeah,
with
well,
that at
you
all.
know, and again, you know, this is, I don't know if we have the, how can I
Authority?
say it?
The authority.
Authority. on it.
Authority.
No.
You know,
I
and
think we
that's
can
why
recommend-
I'm bringing it up, but I might as well bring it up to everybody that
That
comes in here for right
Can't we put
now.
it as part
That
of the
expired.
recommendation?
Our ability to
that it
do
does
anything
that?
with that expired.
But why don't we put that in the recommendation then?
I think you
know?
can recommend, you can't enforce, but you could certainly recommend that
Yeah.
that be done.
Of course, and then there's the issue of a liability nature, which is, you know, peculiar only to Illinois, as I understand, where
That's
there's
interesting.
no impunity to liability granted under our, whatever
Correct.
we've adopted here.
Right.
And where other states, it grants immunities to the business establishment, you know, or probably a private property, you know, office building, warehouse, where, you know, so now that's gonna become a kind of a coverage issue for, you know, anybody and everybody. And I don't know why they didn't address that one, other than Hal probably's got a grin on his face, or it's like probably gonna turn into a lawyer's annuity, you know, so. Come on, smile, Hal.
But can we make that, can
No,
we
but
make that-
seriously, I mean, that's something you guys, you know, you're the out-of-state mouthpiece. Check that out, because I'm bringing that up, because that's another, you know, whole issue if something does happen. Well, why didn't you let people walk in without their piece?
Right. I mean, we've been in states like Texas and others that have had that
Yeah.
for a while, and we generally find that people that go through the process and follow the law aren't the problem.
Yeah, okay.
So-
Okay, well,
Can we, would you guys, first and second agree to amend that?
No, we can't.
We can recommend to
But
the
it won't
liquor
be part of the
commission that, pardon?
Can't be part of the ordinance.
No, but you can certainly recommend to the committee, to the liquor commission, that they recommend to the board that we strongly recommend to the proprietor that they do. I would like
I'm
to have it
amenable.
officially someplace.
As the first, I'm amenable to that. A point of order question, though, to the attorney.
Which attorney?
our attorney.
I've already asked him.
Yeah.
All right, these guys gotta start wearing name tags. We're almost outnumbered here.
Robert Kenny Esquire. Can we make, as part of a liquor license, make it conditional that they must post a no concealed carry within those premises? I mean, that's not kind of restricting it from a direct standpoint. It's kind of an end around, and I don't know how legal or illegal.
I don't know if we can do that. I know
Well,
we
I
can
suppose what we
recommend.
could do is make, if I remember correctly, this is a specific liquor license issued to Dave and Buster's. We could impose that in the license that they're actually being issued. You get a games license subject to these rules.
So if we made them, you know, instead of a Class B, a Class B1 or double B or whatever.
It's just Class
that
B with
per-
these conditions.
Yeah, that particular license comes with a restriction that you must post a no concealed carry? Is that?
Well, I think what we gotta adapt across the board is even with a new liquor license, I mean, existing liquor license renewals then, you know, we're gonna have to address that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just
Right.
single
Oh,
out
no,
Dave and
no, but
Buster's.
we can do
you know?
one at a time as they come up, and as
Yeah.
you said, at renewal time with the rest of them, if we can.
Yeah.
Because it certainly, I agree with the chief. I feel uncomfortable with that.
Of course,
Of course,
as
I'm
they
not
say, this
comfortable
is a
with
whole
carrying
new
a gun
world for us.
concealed anyway. but-
You know, I don't, you know,
Texas.
you know, and I don't care if the employees, or whoever you designate are packing, you know, but the average Joe coming in, I don't know, you know, I mean, and
Oh, I
maybe
haven't
somebody
fired
can
gun in a
show
while.
me statistically, and there, I would hope there's some out there, because some states have had these laws in place for a long time, I mean,
Texas does have businesses that post, in
Yes.
spite of the law, you can't bring a gun in.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen it a number of times in
Yeah.
Houston.
yeah.
Most churches, not all churches, but many churches.
Yeah, in different states, you'll have restrictions on typically schools. A lot of times, bars, restaurants that serve alcohol, where it's just in the state law, when you have your concealed handgun license, you're not allowed to carry in those establishments. So, you know, a lot of
Well, then we gotta address this pretty quick, I think,
We
you
can
know,
Just go with what trustee Williams said for tonight.
Just to-
Yeah.
tonight,
well,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
let-
but I
with-
mean,
with
and then
regard-
Bob, you better
let-
be,
let
you
Bob
know,
come up with
working on something,
Yeah, we can address that.
cooking something up. you
Whatever
know?
it is, work on that, will you?
We can cook that up.
And with regard to the motion, it's just adding a second paragraph, so to speak, to the motion, that we're recommending that Dave and Buster's have a non-carry environment, non-concealed
Posted
carry.
on, right.
Yeah, it's a sign, with,
Give
you
me
know,
a second.
with
He
red
agrees.
mark through it, you know. So you guys licensed? No? You sure? To conceal and carry in Texas?
you can, I don't personally have one.
Okay. All right, fine. All right, well, so, okay, what, do we got a motion and a second? And
Yes, and they agreed to it.
okay, and then we're gonna address this at the, when's the liquor commission?
September 4th.
Okay,
Oh, good.
okay, roll call.
Trustee Schwartz,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Hebda,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye?
Markwart,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good. Thank you.
Welcome to Vernon Hills.
Once again.
At least one more step throws her, right? Thank you.
Yeah. Since, you know, Hale, you hang out at like Pinstripes, I mean, do you care? I don't have a license. I know you don't, and I don't, if you got one now, I mean, hopefully you got a law license? You got a law license? Yeah, all right. You go around misrepresenting yourself. The chief's here. you
We've
know.
always had to watch Hal, I'm telling you, you just gotta watch
All
it.
right. Okay,
I assume that my friends here from Texas don't have to come back?
Oh, we like them, though. No, we don't have to come back.
They can come visit.
Come back to the meeting on the
I don't think it's
I don't think so.
necessary. Well, you got questions for him? Ask him now.
As long as
no, you could,
got everything, I think they're.
yeah, one lawyer's enough.
Yeah, one's enough.
Then it's an even thing, you know, our
Thank
guy
you,
gets
gentlemen.
you know.
Have a nice flight
All right,
home.
take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, what do we got next?
Recommendation
Sign
from the zoning
variance?
board, yes.
Okay. Recommendation
variance.
from zoning board of appeals for sign variance at the future Ross Dress for Less located in River Tree Court Shopping Center.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The petitioners are here, and they can answer any questions you have. But as a quick summary, the original request for variation was to allow a wall sign that would be 258 square feet in lieu of the maximum permitted size of 136.8 square feet. The zoning board reviewed this matter at its public hearing on August 1st of this year. The petitioner testified that the property cannot yield a reasonable use in return if the variation is not granted, because Ross is newer to this market and a smaller sign would diminish their presence in the center. The petitioner further stated that the variation, if granted, would not alter the character of the neighborhood because the new sign would be in scale with the enlarged facade. And finally, the petitioner stated that the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstances because Ross is set back approximately 650 feet from Town Line Road, and they are visually screened from mature landscaping and the outlots along that right-of-way. The zoning board at the hearing expressed concern about the overall size of the sign. Approval of a 258 square foot sign would almost double that, which would be the maximum allowed by the sign code. It was also noted that Ross would have a tenant panel located on the multi-tenant signs, one on Milwaukee Avenue and one on Town Line Road. After further discussion regarding various sizes, the zoning board ultimately determined that a 200 square foot sign was warranted. So the zoning board of appeals recommends approval of a variation from chapter 19 signs, section 19-3C6, to allow a wall sign that is 200 square feet in lieu of the maximum permitted size of 136.8 square feet, and that motion carried unanimously. And again, the petitioners are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, so they got this sign and this sign, but where's it at
Where are the
within mall?
petitioners at?
They're,
Oh, okay. Who's
Where?
who, is somebody here from inland? Okay, fine.
Okay.
All right, I mean, there's questions, you could step to the altar, what is this again, the presentation altar?
Yeah, something like that.
Trustee Cook.
Based on a couple of things, based on the ZBA's 6-0 vote and the fact that this is so far off the main drag and the elevation change is significant, I really don't see a problem with it, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
Second?
there's a motion and a second. Trustee Thunder, comments or questions? Trustee Schultz?
Yeah, I'm not a fan right now because you put up that crappy sign in the median there, or on the berm, way too early, when you hadn't just barely signed the lease. I thought that was very tacky, very inappropriate, and way below the standards that Inland has tried to keep. So I was very disappointed. So at this juncture, I'm not a real happy camper. With that being said, reining it into 200 square feet, I guess, is a reasonable compromise, and I'm not going to vote against the zoning board of appeals. But you have not made a favorable impression upon me from the get-go here.
I have to apologize for that.
Which sign is that?
You know
Coming
that
soon, Ross?
temporary wood sign?
Yeah.
It actually wasn't put up by Inland. I think it was put up by the sign company. and
Wait,
we
for
didn't-
Ross?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
coming soon.
Yeah, that's, they
Yeah.
try and do that in every one of their stores.
Yeah, I'd like to see you take an axe to it and get it off the property if it's still there.
That can be
No,
arranged.
it was taken down, I believe.
Well, no, it's just knocked down.
Is it?
That fell over.
It fell over. Okay, I'll make sure that that's,
Yeah, make it go away, because that was tacky. That was very tasty.
It is strictly a temporary thing.
And it was way too early.
Yeah.
Sir, way too early. So that wasn't a good impression you made. coming
When
in.
is this store
We
open?
don't do them.
Opens in the first week of October.
Exactly, where's the store?
you know where the new Pier 1 is opening? You know, between, if you look at here, the Eloise Bakery is on the corner of the shopping center.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the old Office Depot.
Okay.
And Pier 1 is right next door, the new Pier 1.
Okay.
Well, I disagree with the size of the sign. I will not be voting yes. Oh, yes.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second to approve 200 square feet.
It's on the other side.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate, sir.
Excuse me, so it's a
Trustee
motion?
Williams?
No, I'm done.
It's a motion directing staff to prepare an ordinance approving the variation? Okay.
Yes.
You got something, Brian?
No, I've asked my
Okay.
question.
All right.
I will add one
So
thing, though.
Reese,
Don't let these temporary signs go up. I don't care if they are temporary. They do not go up without approval from that man, and he better get it from us,
Who's that?
the building commissioner.
Okay, well, you didn't have Manders.
Well, he's the only one sitting there.
Okay. All right, so,
I didn't put that one up. I know about.
I don't care who put it up. If you didn't put it up, take it down.
I'll make sure it goes
That's it.
away. First
Not
thing
just that
tomorrow.
one, any others that you want to put up over there, take it
Yeah.
down. I agree with trustee Schultz, they shouldn't be there.
all right. Who made the motion? Do we have
Jim
one?
did.
That,
Jim
Okay,
did.
then we got a second.
Or Tom made it, I'm sorry.
All right,
And
all right.
friend of mine.
Okay,
Okay,
no further comments or questions, roll call, please.
he didn't.
Trustees Williams,
No,
But we'll see that he does.
Hebda,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye.
Markwart,
Aye.
Schultz,
I'm going to make you sweat. Present.
Schwartz.
Aye.
For the record, I'll vote aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now, who are you?
I'm Chuck Zen with North Shore Signs.
I know.
Dwayne
Oh,
Leskis
okay.
says hello.
Oh, yeah.
I work for Dwayne.
Oh, how you doing?
Good.
And this is Ross, and this is
Yes.
Mrs.
Pam
Inland.
Sullivan from Inland.
What's
Signs
that?
are getting
Pam
very
Sullivan.
bad.
Okay, that- what I used to
I was
say.
here the night we came before you to get the facade approved.
Okay, all right,
Okay, thank you very much.
take care.
Thank you.
Okay, then what do we got here? Convenience store concept presentation and consideration of a text amendment to the liquor and license code allowing for the retail sale of alcohol in convenience stores. You don't have to get up yet. Who's handling this one from staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
As the board is aware, the Liquor and Licensing Commission has been considering a request for Manny's to have a Class B liquor license, a full liquor license. Right now, he has a Class D liquor license that limits him to the sale of beer and wine only. The commission discussed this matter at its meetings on July 9th and July 23rd. There were many questions raised, which led to a broader discussion to consider amending the liquor code, creating a new classification, allowing a full liquor license at a convenience store with certain restrictions. Staff was directed to prepare draft language, and the matter was forwarded to the COW for consideration at tonight's meeting. Attached to your packet is a draft amendment for your review and discussion. If you want, I can go over the different points in the amendments, or,
Yeah,
okay.
if there's a motion to approve.
So made.
Okay, all right. Motion in a second. You- Trustee Cook?
Yeah, as one of the people that has been pretty consistently against this, this is such a unique situation, and I'm comfortable with the way this ordinance is worded, that it is specific enough that this doesn't apply to, it doesn't open the box that we didn't want to open. And in fact, I went over to the establishment the other day, and we, looked at exactly how they're planning on doing it, and they're also moving all the beer and wine, like we've talked about in here, over to it, so all the alcohol will be in that one part, and you will not even be allowed in that part unless you're, of age in that. So I no longer have the problem with it, because this covers the concern I had about, opening up a box. This is a very unique situation.
Yeah. That's why we
Okay.
really came up with this one, because it is unique.
Yes,
Right.
and staff, a very nice job of putting this together to make it as concise as to be allowed, a business to do what they're doing without
And
creating a problem.
and peculiar just to this specific use.
Right.
Okay. All right, there's a motion and a second? Second. Okay, roll call.
Trustees Hebda,
Aye.
Cook,
Aye?
Markwart,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Aye.
Williams.
Aye.
Motion carries. You want to say anything now? Yeah.
Good enough.
All
good
right,
enough.
yeah, get your checkbook out.
Pay for your
All
life.
right.
Yeah, go visit
Really
Monica.
appreciate it.
What are you gonna call the place, Manny's?
Well, it's gonna stay the same, you know.
No, it's all right, I won't.
It's gonna be, say, nice and fine wines and spirits.
Yeah, sure, all right.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, what else? That's about it, huh? We're
Motion
gonna
to adjourn.
adjourn and go into closed session for potential litigation, pending litigation? Pending litigation, okay. Everybody clear with that? There's a motion, is there a second?
Aye, a second. Whatever.
Roll call.
Trustees Cook,
Aye.
Marport,
Aye.
Schultz,
Aye.
Schwartz,
Aye.
Williams,
Aye.
Hebda.
Motion carries, thank you, and good night. We won't be coming out to discuss any other business. Good night.
Night.